One of the reasons we chose Denver was because it was a church planter's graveyard. The likelihood is we wouldn't be here in 2 years. The way that God called me into ministry and church planting, I went on a mission trip and they asked us to do a Bible study. And I remember praying, God, if you want me to be in full-time ministry, I don't know how, but just let me know. So I teach this lesson and immediately I knew. My name is Ernest Smith. I'm lead pastor at Front Range Church in Castle Rock, Colorado. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Sarah. We have 2 kids, Wyatt and Waverly. About 13 years in, I'm wrestling with what does God want for me. I realized that every reason to plant a church was biblical, and every reason not to was fear. And I thought, am I gonna live my life based on fear or based on God's word? My professor, he said, I think you need to move to Denver and plant a church. The scariest part about planting a church is the realization that more than likely you're going to fail. Thank God we very quickly found Strategic Launch Network and Lakepointe and feeling like maybe somebody else has got my back. God moved us out here because he knew some of my son's uniquenesses and some of the things that we would walk through as a family. He knew we needed this place. When my son was, I think, 5 years old, and we got a diagnosis for him, and I just was weeping. And I was going, God, what do I do? Like, it's my son. And I don't have the finances to help him. And I felt like the Lord said, I want you to call Steve. I called Pastor Steve and I said, hey, here's the situation. I'm not asking you to do anything. I just need you to know as one of the overseers. Pastor Steve called all of my overseers, and together they rallied and they figured out how to help us financially to be able to get my son the therapy that he needed. One of the most significant things that we've seen God use our church for is reaching the special needs families here in our area. My son has some special needs. We went to an egg hunt and it was a miserable experience. God began to move on our hearts that, then why don't you do something? So we did. The special egg hunt is one of the most significant things that we do to reach our community and to care for families that in many ways are the most unreached group in our nation. The first year, I think we had 350, 400 people show up. We had parents that would say, my kid has never been able to take a picture with the Easter Bunny. Every parent has a dream for their child. We're allowing them to have maybe a little taste of that dream, even if it's just for a moment. Every special needs family in this area has heard about our egg hunt, knows about our church, because the word of mouth, it spreads very, very quickly. I'll never forget God bringing us here and telling me it was not just because I love these people, but it's because I love your family. That's my biggest prayer, that we'd be grounded in his word, that we'd be obedient. It's not about the building, it's about reaching people who are spiritually disconnected and need Jesus. I hope that every special needs parent, family feels when they walk into our church, you are loved and you are seen. 10 years ago, I never could imagine we would have such a thriving community of people who love Jesus and deeply, deeply love this community. This is what the kingdom looks like. Seeing people from every background, different religions, different ethnicities, finding Christ. Yeah, we're not done. We're just getting started.